topic for today will be all about activity-based costing, or mas kilala sa pangalang A, B, C. Right? So I will be discussing the basic concepts with regards to activity-based costing. But before that, let's first distinguish the difference between actual costing system, next is yung tinatawag natin na standard costing system, then last is yung tinatawag natin na normal costing system. So we have 3 costing systems na gusto kong i-discuss before tayo magpunta sa activity-based costing. So under the actual costing system, see to it that all manufacturing cost, ano nga ulit yung tatlong manufacturing cost? We have material, labor, and overhead. So under the actual costing system, all manufacturing costs are actually measured at actual cost. On the other hand, kapag sinabi naman nating standard costing system, all the manufacturing costs, namely once again material, labor, and overhead, on the other hand, are measured at standard cost. So na-discuss na natin on my other videos itong standard costings na to. Standard costing system na to. Right? On the other hand, kapag sinabi naman natin normal costing system, hindi po yan mini-measure at normal cost. Baka kasi isipin mo, actual costing sir, actual cost. Standard costing system, standard cost. So normal costing system, normal cost. Walang ganun guys, right? Kaya yan natawag na normal costing system because only material and labor are measured at actual cost. On the other hand, the overhead is actually measured at standard cost. So pinagsama natin si actual at saka si standard. Sir, bakit po ganun? Because ang material at labor, kayang-kaya mo nang makompute kung magkano ba yung actual cost niyan. Sir, paano po? Kapag material ang pinag-uusapan, you just have to look at the material requisition form. Sir, ano po yung material requisition form na yan? Material requisition form is the form we fill out every time na magpapasok tayo ng raw materials into the production. So kapag kinuha mo or kinalap mo lahat ng materials requisition form, malalaman natin kung ilang materials ba ang pinasok natin into the production, and then malalaman din natin kung magkano ba yung cost ng mga materials na yan. So it is easy for us to know how much will be the actual cost of materials. Same thing with labor. By just looking with the labor timesheets of the employees, malalaman natin kung ilang oras ba ang nagamit natin sa kanila, and at the same time, we can know easily magkano ba yung binabayad natin sa kanila. So, madali lang malaman kung magkano yung actual cost ng material at labor. Pero kasi pagdating kay overhead, medyo pahirapan dyan. Sir, what do you mean na pahirapan? Pahirapan yan because first, hindi available yung actual cost natin sa overhead. Sir, paano mo nasabi yan? Nasabi ko yun because normally, ang overhead, hindi available agad-agad ang actual cost niyan. Sir, can you give an example? Example will be electricity. So, kapag meron tayong electricity na magagamit sa December, see to it na at the end of December, hindi mo alam magkano ba yung total cost of electricity na nagamit natin. Sir, bakit naman hindi agad-agad malalaman yung actual cost? Because apparently, yung bill ng kuryente kailan lumarating? The following month. So, yung bill ng kuryente for the month of December, darating lang yon sa January. Ibig sabihin, you still have to wait, right? Few weeks or minsan few months before mo malaman kung magkano ba yung actual cost ng overhead. And so, therefore, para hindi na natin hintayin pa yung time na yon wherein malalaman na natin magkano yung actual cost, for the meantime, gagamit muna tayo ng standard cost. That is why here, meron tayong tinatawag na applied factory overhead. See to it that applied factory overhead is just the same sa standard factory overhead. Maliwanag ba yun, guys? Sabi ko, marami tayong problema kay overhead. Unang problema pa lang, yung hindi available, yung actual cost. Punta ngayon tayo sa second problem. Sir, ano po yung pangalawang problema? Yung pangalawang problema is kapag meron tayong more than one product, once again, what if we have or we are producing more than one product. Sir, anong ibig sabihin yan? Ibig sabihin 2 or 3 produkto ang pinoproduce mo. So if we are producing more than 1 product, see to it that the overhead must be allocated, right, to the products. Once again, if we are producing more than 1 product, see to it that overhead must be allocated to the products. Sir, bakit? Para malaman natin kung magkano ba yung total manufacturing cost ng certain product na yon. So, ang problema, hindi naman natin nahahati agad-agad ang kuryente. Sige, Monday to Wednesday, product A tayo. Thursday to Friday, product B tayo. Hindi naman ganun kadali sa normal business setting. Normally, we have to produce the product simultaneously, meaning sa isang araw, morning, product A tayo, afternoon, product B tayo. At kahit gawin mong scheduling yan, medyo mahirap kasing i-allocate yung overhead sa mga products. And so therefore, kailangan nating maghanap ng way on how to allocate these overhead nga to the products. And actually, we have 2 ways on how to do that. Sir, ano po yung 2 way na yon? Una is yung tinatawag natin na traditional costing. Then last is yung tinatawag natin na activity-based costing. So, meron tayong traditional costing, then meron din tayong tinatawag na activity-based costing. Sir, since activity-based costing lang po yung topic natin for today, ABC lang po ba i-discuss mo? Nope, i-discuss ko rin si traditional for the benefit of the doubt. Paano ba? So, let's start with the traditional muna. Under the traditional costing, or minsan tinatawag din siya na peanut butter costing. Sir, sure ka ba peanut butter? Yes, peanut butter costing. Later on, sasabihin ko kung bakit siya natawag na peanut butter costing. Right? So, ngayon, ganito. Under the traditional costing, we actually allocate overhead by using a single activity driver. Sir, ano po yung activity driver na yan? Activity driver is actually the volume of activity we use to allocate overhead. So, yung single activity driver na yan, natawag siyang single because we are just using one activity driver. And this activity driver in traditional costing may be the labor hours. Sometimes it is the labor cost, or pwede rin namang maging machine hours. So as you can see, under the traditional costing system, ang gagawin lang natin is yung total overhead, i-divide natin once again under the traditional costing system. Since isa lang ang activity driver natin to compute the application rate, the total factory overhead will just be divided doon sa single activity driver natin. Right? Or yung volume of activity. Ano ba? Then after computing the application rate, the next thing na gagawin natin is i-compute yung applied factory overhead. At sir, paano mo po yan gagawin? Of course, madali lang yan. That will be equal to the application rate times the actual activity driver, again times the actual activity driver for that certain product. Sir, yung activity driver ba dito, hindi yan actual? Actual din yan. It's just that this is based on the total. Let's say, kung labor hours man yan, total labor hours yan ng lahat ng product. Pagkukunan mo na yung application rate or applied factory overhead per product, of course, yung application rate na kinompute natin kanina, you just have to multiply that to the actual activity driver per product. So, that is the traditional costing. Ngayon, punta tayo sa tinatawag natin na activity-based costing. So, under the activity-based costing, di ko pa pala na-discuss kung bakit siya natawag na peanut butter costing. Balik tayo dito. Natawag siyang peanut butter costing because para lang tayong nag-a-apply ng peanut butter sa isang bread. Ibig sabihin, isang scope lang ang gagawin natin and then i-apply natin yon sa buong bread. Right? Then, of course, hahati-hatiin natin yung bread na yon para maraming makakain. Right? Kaya siya natawag na peanut butter costing, but I don't actually use peanut butter costing. It's just that some books, tinatawag siyang peanut butter costing, kaya ako siya na-discuss. Next, punta tayo sa activity-based costing. Natawag itong activity-based costing because the total factory overhead, once again, the total factory overhead will first allocated to the activities na dadaanan bago ma-produce ang final product. Ibig sabihin, if we have 3 activities, etong factory overhead na to, i-allocate mo doon sa 3 activities na yon. Maliwanag ba? And then apparently, each activity will have their own activity driver. Once again, each activity, after allocating the overhead to those activities, will have their own activity driver. So sir, ang ibig mo bang sabihin dyan, alright, is that if meron tayong 3 activities, for example, meron din po tayong 3 application rate? Yes, that's correct. Ibig sabihin here, the number of application rate will depend on the number of activities we have. Not unlike sa traditional costing, wherein, since isa lang yung activity driver, asahan mo na isa lang ang application rate natin. Pero sa activity-based costing, since overhead is allocated to activities and activities have their own activity driver, asahan mo that the number of application rate na makukompute natin dito will depend on the number of activities we have. Liwanag ba yun? Okay ba tayo doon? Alright, so ngayon ganito. Try nating i-apply yung mga concepts na yan sa mga problems. Okay ba tayo doon? So let's use illustrative problem number 1, which is Candice Manufacturing. Ready? So Candice Manufacturing has the following budgeted overhead cost for 2030. So types of cost, meron tayong 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we have 5 activities. Again, meron po tayong 5 activities. First activity is with regards to the electric power, and the allocated factory overhead to that activity is 1 million. Second will be the work sales, 6 million yung allocated overhead. Third will be the material handling. Fourth will be the quality control inspections. And last will be the product runs. Next, for the past 5 years, the cost accounting department has been charging overhead production cost based on machine hours. Ibig sabihin, under the traditional costing, the single activity driver is the machine hours. The estimated budgeted capacity for 2030 is equal to 2 million machine hours. Ibig ngayon sabihin dito, if requirement number 1 is to determine the predetermined overhead rate under the traditional method, our final answer here will just be equal to the total factory overhead. Once again, the application rate under the traditional costing will just be equal to the total factory overhead of 11.5 million divided by the total machine hours, because that's our single activity driver, which is 2 million pesos. And apparently, 11.5 million, once again, 11.5 million divided by 2 million pesos will give us 5.75. So, our application rate under the traditional costing system is 5.75, and that is our final answer for the first requirement. We good? Second requirement, the cost per door as presently accounted for. So kapag ang tinatanong ng problem is the cost per door as presently accounted for, asahan mo na kailangan muna nating makompute yung ating total manufacturing cost. And once again, how to compute total manufacturing cost? This is equal to materials, labor, and overhead. Ano ba? So, punta tayo dito sa dulo. Anong sabi dito? Dito muna sa dulo. The Vice President of Marketing received an offer to sell 5,000 doors to a local construction company. The VP asked the head of the cost accounting department to prepare cost estimate for producing 5,000 doors. The head of cost accounting accumulated the following data concerning the production of 5,000 doors. As you can see here, we have 200,000 direct materials cost. So, lalagay ko dito, 200,000. We good? For the labor, we have 400,000. And then for the factory overhead, of course, madali na lang yan since alam na natin yung application rate. The application rate, as computed a while ago, is 5.75 times machine hours. Ilan machine hours ang magagamit sa $5,000? Sabi ng cost accounting manager, we will be using a total of 10,000 machine hours for the production of $5,000. So 5.75 times ilan ulit? 10,000 machine hours. So 5.75 times 10,000, this will give us 57,500. So the total manufacturing cost now is 200,000 plus 400,000 plus 57,500, or this is 657,500. Kaso anong tinatanong ng pangalawa ng question number 2? Cost per door. Ibig sabihin ng cost per door, cost per unit. So itong 657,500, yan yung gagastusin natin to produce 5,000 doors. So para ma-compute yung cost per door, kailangan mo lang yan i-divide by 5. So 657,500 divided by 5. Once again, 657,500 divided by 5,000 doors, because 5,000 doors ang in order, this will give us 131.5. So the cost per door under the traditional costing is equal to 131.5. So requirement number 2, our final answer is 131.5. We're good? Requirement number 3. Requirement number 3 is the cost per door ulit, but this time under the proposed activity-based costing method. Right? So nung sabi dito, the president of Candice Manufacturing recently attended a seminar on activity-based costing. He now believes that ABC results in more reliable cost data that in turn will give the company an edge in pricing over its competitors. At the president's request, the production manager provided the following data regarding expected 2030 activity for the cost drivers of the preceding budgeted, hindi ba yan budge, alright? Budgeted overhead cost. So given here is the overhead allocation, and then given here yung kanya-kanyang activity drivers nung bawat activity. Right? So ang kukumputin natin is the application rate per activity. Ready? For the electric power, that is equal to 1 million pesos. Again, the allocated cost is 1 million pesos. Divided by, anong gagamitin natin dito? Kilowatt hours, of course. So here, meron tayong a total of 200,000 kilowatt hours. So divided by 200,000, this will give us 5 pesos per kilowatt hour. Next, punta tayo sa work cells. Meron tayong 6 million pesos allocated overhead. Divided by ilang square feet yan? That's 1.2 million. So divided by 1.2 million, this will give us 5 per square feet. Next, material handling. Magkano na-allocate? 2 million pesos. So, 2 million pesos divided by ilang moves lahat yan? That's 500,000 moves. So, divided by 500,000, this is 4 pesos per material moved. Next is the quality control inspection. Allocated cost is 2 million pesos. Divided by ilang inspections lahat yan? We have a total of 400,000 inspections. So, this will give us 5 pesos per inspection. So, as you can see, para lang siyang traditional costing, kaso this time, hinati-hati natin yung total overhead, and then marami tayong application rate. Then lastly, product runs. We have total allocated cost of 500,000 divided by ilang setup or product runs meron tayo? We have 50,000 product runs. So, divided by 50,000, this is equal to 10 per product run. So, this is 10 per product run. Liwanag ba? Now, dito, sa baba, given na nga yung estimate kanina nung cost accounting manager. Right? So, para sa electric power, meron tayong 5 pesos application rate per kilowatt hour. Ilang kilowatt hour ba na gamit natin? In producing 5,000 doors, we use a total of 2,000 kilowatt hour. So, 2,000 ang nagamit, 5 piso kada isa asahan mo na 2,000 times 5, the applied factory overhead now for the first activity is equal to 10,000 pesos. For the work cells, 5 pesos per square feet. Nakagamit tayo ng 12,000 square feet. Therefore, 12,000 times 5, this is equal to 60,000 pesos. For the material handling, 4 na piso lang per material moves. 120 moves ang ating nagawa. So, 120 times 4, this is equal to 480 pesos. Fourth activity, 5 pesos per inspection. Nakagamit tayo ng 60 inspection. Therefore, 60 times 5, this is equal to 300. Then lastly, product runs. 10 pesos per product runs or setup, and then 30 ang nagamit. So, 30 times 10 is also equal to 300. Ano ba? So, kung kanina sa traditional costing, ang ginawa natin is, meron lang tayong single application rate at minultiply natin yan dun sa, of course, activity driver na yun, which is the machine hours. But this time, under activity-based costing, i-divide muna natin yung, or i-allocate muna natin yung total overhead sa mga activities. Then, each activity may kanya-kanyang activity driver. Alright? So, kapag in-add mo lahat ng to, makukuha natin yung applied factory overhead under the activity-based costing. At magkano yan, guys? This is 10,000 plus 60,000 plus 480 plus 300 and plus 300, or this is equal to 71,080. Again, this will be equal to 71,080. Very good. So, compute ngayon natin yung total manufacturing cost under the proposed ABC method. So, materials, once again, meron tayong 200,000. Labor, meron tayong 400,000. And then overhead as computed, we have 71,080. Right? So as you can see, ang pinagkaiba lang ni traditional dun sa ABC is yung overhead. Pareho sila sa material at labor. Anag ba? So kapag in-add natin lahat ng yan, makukuha natin si total manufacturing cost. So 200,000 plus 400,000 plus 71,080, or this is equal to 671,080. Ang tinatanong dito sa number 3 is yung cost per door. Ibig sabihin, i-divide natin to sa 5,000 doors because yun yung order sa atin. So, 671,080 divided by 5,000. Ang makukompute natin dito is 134.2. Again, ang nakukompute natin dito is 134.2. Maliwanag? So, requirement number 3, our final answer now is equal to 134.2. So, that is activity-based costing. Hopefully, natuto ka sa video na to. Thank you guys for watching these videos. I appreciate your efforts. Right? And para bang watching these videos na, of course, pinag-e-effortan ko din. Hoping for the best for all of us. God bless guys. Bye-bye. See you on my next video.